Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Grit
Yep.
here in Grit City.
Thanks for joining us. How's your week been?
My week's been pretty good. I got a new job,
Oh.
which is nice. I don't start right away, but I'm going to be working at the new Tacoma Club on 6th and Proctor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
Do you know anyone else that you'll be working with at that location?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I think I was the first, or I'm one of the first that they've done interviews for.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, so that's good news.
Yeah. When do you start?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I guess. I mean, I assume as soon as it
When
opens.
it opens.
Yeah.
I'll be doing training beforehand.
Okay.
So
Cool.
See me at the club.
Are they gonna train you at the
the
Legacy location?
Exactly, at the Legacy location.
I'll call it TCC Legacy.
Yeah. But so that's what's up with me this week. But I'm more interested in what's in the news this week than what I did this week. Unless you have some. Did you?
Well, did you
did
do anything fun for Cinco de Mayo?
No, I didn't. Well, maybe incidentally, but I didn't even think about it being Cinco de Mayo this week.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you because you have Star Wars Day, May the 4th,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
we'll
you
definitely
just get
celebrate
so
that
wrapped up in Star Wars Day you completely forget about
Which day
Cinco
was
de
the 5th?
Mayo.
Was it 2
Friday.
days ago? Okay, 3 days ago? Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think I had any tequila or nothing.
So I went to a bonfire quotation marks because
You went to a
when
bonfire?
yeah, when you think bonfire, like
Mhm.
how big is a bonfire for you?
Ooh, that's a good question. I need flames to be at least 3 feet tall.
Yeah, this wasn't it. I would classify this as a
This wasn't it?
medium-sized campfire.
Okay.
Not a small campfire, but it's certainly not a bonfire.
Yeah, you couldn't throw a big thing on and it would go whoosh.
No, certainly not.
Well, you went to a bond. Where was it at?
It was at Edgewood.
Okay.
Edgewood. Yep.
Couldn't you have just thrown more fuel on the fire yourself, taken some initiative?
I mean, I could have, but I don't know if that's like the home's heating source too. So I don't want to.
Stock.
I don't want to. We might still get some cool mornings.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be winter anytime soon.
No, but maybe.
I had to install. That was the other thing I did this week. I was going to install my air conditioner because it got hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I plugged it in and it exploded.
Oh, it exploded
Like, it
or.
went and like a spark and smoke came out of it.
Oh my.
Yeah.
How old was it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I think it was moisture related.
Yeah, but yeah, for Cinco de Mayo, I will give credit where credit's due. While it wasn't a bonfire, it was still fun. They had great food there too.
Oh yeah, what'd you eat?
Somebody killed a pig and then made their own pulled pork, and then we
Really?
put it in like street taco style. It was really good.
That's nice.
It was really good.
What did you go with somebody?
I was there with Matt North.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Going up to the bonfire.
Yeah, it was fun. I played beer pong with people who clearly don't
Didn't
remember.
watch their elbows.
Well, they don't remember how beer pong was like.
They don't remember the rules.
They don't remember the rules. I don't remember the rules either. So honestly,
Elbows behind the table.
they probably could have just made half those rules up, and I would have just been like,
I made the same cup, so that counts as 3.
yeah.
Oh, double cut. I'm on a streak. I'm on fire, but I didn't call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I imagine beer pong is one of those things where there's a million house rules out there.
Oh, definitely.
Same thing with Monopoly.
2 re-racks and a gentleman's re-rack at the very
Yep. And I feel like that's why no one.
end. I should get back into beer pong. I forgot how many cool rules there were.
That's why no one knows.
You got to give the gentleman's re-rack at the end, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's my house rule.
But here's my thing. I think this is the reason why no one likes Monopoly
Maybe it takes
is
too long.
and everybody has house rules, so nobody knows how the actual game is played.
You
It
have house rules for Monopoly?
Everyone does.
What?
Well, here's the thing. Most people don't know how you actually play Monopoly, so they just make up what they think.
Yeah, but that's the standard. But at least that's standardized. It's not like each house has distinct, like completely unique rules.
You ever been to a house that was like, "Oh yeah, if you land on free parking, you get money or something," and it's like that's not how free parking
Yeah, but
works.
that's like how a lot of people, probably the majority of people play it.
Yeah,
Put
but I
in
guess you could
200
say the
for free
same thing
parking.
for beer pong. But people like beer pong at least because you drink.
That's a good point. Did you ever go for the bounce shot?
No, I just try to sink them straight in.
Did you win?
No,
Is it
lost.
because Matt North was your partner? And he missed all
No,
the shots.
no, actually, Matt North didn't even play all the way through. Um, some other guy who
You got it subbed in.
jumped in. Yeah, yeah, there was a sub. His team subbed in the middle
Oh no!
of beer pong, if you can believe that.
What? He didn't have the endurance to pull
And
it
their
off.
sub was he was
He was a ringer.
he was good. Oh yeah.
The sub was a ringer.
Mm,
That seems unfair.
it does seem unfair, but we didn't. I don't think we lost any of the ping pong balls, so that was
That's a
impressive.
real win.
Yeah, but overall pretty fun. Cinco de Mayo. It was cool. It's nice when you live out in the out far enough that you don't really have to worry about what your neighbors think, so you can do
Go do whatever
dumb
kind of adventure
crap
you want.
like
Make
yeah,
noise and
make noise and
hoot and
have
holler.
a big fire. Well, medium-sized fire. But yeah, no, I enjoyed Cinco de Mayo.
So I got a very interesting news article
Mm-hmm.
for us to discuss today. I don't know if you heard, but the state has a new dinosaur.
So I heard that there was a bill passed in the legislature, but I did not look into the specifics of this dinosaur.
It passed, so we got the new state dinosaur,
Mm-hmm.
and basically what happened is like there was elementary school in Parkland,
Mm-hmm.
and they just had like a project to come up with learn about government.
Okay.
And so they chose there's only been one dinosaur found in the state of Washington ever. It's like of any dinosaur fossil,
Wow.
and it's of this dinosaur. It's like of a velociraptor type. It's not a T-Rex, but it's another type of Tyrannosaurus,
Yeah.
named after the island it was found on in North Orcas. I can't remember the name. I don't have it right here. But it fed me to this link of the other Washington state icons
Yeah.
or state, what do they call them? Symbols?
Yeah, like the goldfinch.
Exactly, but it's not the goldfinch for us.
Right.
What do you know what our state bird is?
I'm pretty sure it's the
It is
goldfinch.
the goldfinch, you're right. The willow goldfinch.
Yeah.
So pretty much every state symbol
Mm-hmm.
is there because some elementary school had a project.
I feel like it's also just one of those things where it's like if you want to like sort of show kids the gears of government, like it's like, well, let's try it out.
The reason our state vegetable is the sweet onion
Mm-hmm.
is because of Eatonville Middle School and Kirkland Junior High School.
Oh, thank you, Eaton.
Right?
Will.
The reason our state amphibian is the Pacific chorus frog is because of Boston Harbor Grade School in North Olympia.
Do you call a group of them a choir?
I think you might. Do you know how many state things do you know?
Ooh, our gem is petrified wood,
Gem is
right?
petrified wood. That's the coolest one.
Yeah.
State flower,
Ooh, I don't know that one.
rhododendron.
Ooh, that's a good
course.
one. That's a good one.
Of course, 6 flowers were considered, but Final decision was narrowed to Clover and the Roadie.
Only one could be king.
It's good. So I went to it's the state website, Washington.gov, has a thing on the state symbols, and they have like little stories about each one of the symbols.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm still like...
So it was before, in 1892, before they had the right to vote, Washington women voted on the flower.
Wow.
So only women could vote on the state flower, and they couldn't vote in the other elections.
They're like, let's let them have just this one.
They can decide the state flower.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
The state tree? I would have thought the Douglas fir, but it's the western hemlock.
That makes sense. I feel like the Doug fir is more of like a Oregon symbol.
Well, okay.
Don't they have it on
Actually,
their...
Oregon chose our state tree.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because isn't that
can't
what's
have
on the
more than
license
one.
plate?
I don't think that mic is turned up on the board. It is on the license plate. I guess that makes sense.
And also, I think the Cascadia flag was invented by a guy from Portland.
That's
The Doug flag.
Oh yeah, I really like that flag.
It's a great flag.
That's actually a flag I'd like to have.
I have one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You do.
Yep.
Did you? So we have a state endemic mammal and a state marine mammal. Oh no, you're good. No, you're good. No, not on that board. On that one. Yep. Find which dial it is and turn it to the right. Now you're good.
Logan's trying to join us.
Hello.
Yeah.
I think I'm there.
We got the state fruit is the apple, of course.
Yeah,
no, you're good. It's 2. It's the second dial. No, yeah, you move up the second dial. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think, like when they let the women vote on the state flower, they came up with an idea, and the guys were like, "Whoa, not that one, ladies. Chill out."
Well, it
Like,
was almost
you get to pick
clover.
between these, they were about to make it the clover, and the guys had to step in and be like, actual flowers, ladies.
Yeah, come on.
I think a clover counts. It flowers.
It does flower, but that's going to be your state flower?
What's the
It's
state
clover?
animal?
Well,
So we have a state mammal, a state fish, a state insect,
Okay.
a state endemic mammal, which I had to look up the definition of, and is still unclear to me. It just means that it lives in the area.
oh,
I know that Oregon's state mammal is the beaver. I grew up learning all this dumb shit.
We got ours is the Olympic marmot.
Marmot?
Yeah.
oh, it's like a big ferret, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the state fish? Is it the fucking salmon?
It's
Steelhead.
Steelhead.
Trout?
Trout.
Yep.
Nice. Well, I think it's not rainbow trout in Oregon. It might be the bluegill. I can't remember exactly.
We got our marine mammals, the orca.
Yeah.
We even
I
have
mean,
the state oyster.
We have a state oyster.
Yeah, the Ostrea ludria.
could you
How many
imagine?
oysters are indigenous to Washington?
I think quite a few.
Yeah. Could you imagine like a landlocked state picking a state oyster?
What
Like
if the Nebraska
Wyoming,
state
yeah.
oyster?
Yeah.
It's the Rocky Mountain oyster.
Our state
Is there
sport is pickleball.
Is there a state dog?
We do not have a state dog.
See, Virginia had a state dog,
What is it,
the-
a Labrador? or
the American foxhound.
something? Ooh,
It's a good dog.
that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a state tartan.
Is that like the plaid pattern?
It's the type of plaid.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
thought it was
green.
a pastry.
That's just a tart.
We also have unofficial state symbols listed on the state government website.
Mm.
One of them being the state capitol building is an unofficial state symbol.
I would
don't know what
hope.
that means.
Unofficial.
I would
don't
ho-
understand.
I would hope so. You know that
I pissed on the Texas state capitol.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's
First time I ever went
on
to
it.
Austin.
that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I
It's
Wow.
big.
I took a video of it, and I found the video was just the flag, and it just panned down to my stream of piss.
Jeez Louise.
It's a cool capitol building in Austin.
Yeah, it
Not
is.
as cool as the one in Olympia, though.
It's probably about maybe similarly
I have
cool.
some civic pride. So I can say
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Represent.
Yeah, I like remember the Virginia ones.
If you could add one, what would you add for Washington?
add a state symbol.
Yeah.
Ooh. Do we do state spirits? Like what would the spirit of Washington
Ooh.
be?
I would think it'd be a gin.
Or yeah, maybe.
Be the ghost of Christmas past.
Or maybe an
Not,
IPA.
not that not that kind of spirit.
Yeah, I think.
IPAs are everywhere right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it is a pretty decent wine country.
Mhm.
Washington, but there's also like some whiskey producers that
Yeah.
are decent out here. But like whiskey is obviously like back east.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which one has the best historical significance?
Did you know?
Whiskey probably Kentucky
No, I mean for
or
Washington.
Tennessee.
Oh yeah, for
Like, would you go,
Washington.
like I could see it being like apple cider.
Ooh,
state
that
fruit
that
is
that
apples.
would be a good one.
Yeah, do a cider.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the biggest cidery in the state is.
What's the because like there's wine, and then there's like cider, and then there's grappa, which is like
Mm,
distilled grape
I like
liquor.
grappa.
What is distilled apple liquor? Is that just like moonshine?
Well, I thought. Yeah,
That's a good question. Maybe no one's ever thought of that yet before.
we're making something new.
Yeah. Well-
Rainier does have the gin, and gin is very piney, so it goes very well with the forest. I don't like gin. and I
Oh,
like
it's a
Washington.
juniper.
That Rainier gin is pretty good, I think. As far as gins go,
You're becoming a gin and tonic man. I see.
I've been a
Or
gin and
no,
tonic
just-
man.
I feel like it's just sweet and olive. That's
W-
what you're tasting.
It tastes
Or lime.
well lime.
Oh,
Yeah,
lime
not yeah. It's sweet and lime. It's like a lime popsicle.
Ooh.
Um,
Now, if it was a lemon popsicle, you'd have my number.
Well, you could get lemon instead of lime.
yeah, I don't know about that. You know, you don't want to change a good thing like that.
That's true.
Although I guess a French 75 has lemon in it.
French 75s are good, but like that's not like super ginny.
No, it's not. But when I
Saint
And
Germain.
hardly Washingtonian.
but when I learned that at least gin and tonics at happy hour at TCC are cheaper than the beers, I was like,
That's why you
sign
switched
me
over.
up.
There you go.
Yeah, I think some apple cider would be a good.
I don't even know what my favorite local
Maybe
apple
mead.
cider is.
Do we have a state
I feel
berry?
like we've tried a couple. No, but I would think it'd be the salmon berry.
What about mead?
We don't have a state berry. That's a good call.
Mm,
Mead? I
Mead.
like mead. Matt North made a very nice mead.
he did. He
And,
made it.
yeah,
I hope
I was
he makes.
surprised how easy it was to make.
I hope he
described
makes
to
it
me.
again. I would definitely
Nice
drink
berry,
some.
essentially.
Something like that.
Something like that. He put some other stuff in there too. It wasn't just like, I don't think it was just like a regular mead. I think it had some sort of infusion to it as well.
Have you heard the idea about how like hard alcohol is having like an effect on evolution because it's a newer thing because they've only
Oh.
been distilling alcohol for like 200 years,
So like the human body's been starting to evolve around it.
or it's
That's kind of cool.
like negatively affect it.
Oh, I know.
Fetal
I heard it was
alcohol syndrome.
good.
Well, it's like natural fermentation only goes so far,
hmm
and so we've like fucking X10'd that shit
Mm.
through distillation.
I heard that I read this Michael Pollan book about the three plants that have evolved with and around humans. Like we
Cannabis.
both evolved together. Yeah, cannabis is one. I think it was apples and I don't remember the last one. Fungus would make sense, but I don't think that was
Barley.
Yeah,
It was like wheat hop, something like that.
something like that.
Have you seen that How Beer Saved the World documentary?
No.
And basically they discovered fermentation on accident because they would like have pots and that they'd store like grains in that they would try to like leave and come back to because they were like nomadic people.
It is kind of crazy how just you let stuff sit around and it'll just
Change.
start changing. Like the idea of grain silos that they'll catch on fire.
Mm.
Because the gas buildup.
They'll
No,
explode.
it's because of friction.
Yeah, the static electricity just from the grain dust moving around in there can
Interesting.
Yeah.
cause an explosion.
There's something just sitting around and you're like, oh, what's that big pile of grain? And then it's all on of a sudden on fire.
I saw a
Mhm.
video of a guy trapped in a silo, and like every time he tried to move towards the door, he would just like sink further and further into it.
That's
Oh, no,
terrifying.
That's terrifying.
Um,
That's like a spoiler alert for Barry.
Yeah.
so I'm glad you actually brought up that bill because in the legislative session, a bunch of bills got passed, and
Oh yeah.
there's some interesting ones. There's like
I mean,
one.
this new state dinosaur is about as interesting as it gets.
There's one that exempts newspapers from certain taxes if they print in Washington, and it's like it's finally gotten to the point where it's like maybe we should help the newspapers out a little bit.
Well, that's good. I like to hear that.
There's like lower barriers to entry for like family housing units because
they're too difficult to get into.
Well, yeah, most like municipalities are zoned only for single family units.
Oh, okay.
So this would make it
units.
easier, and if it's with 12 or fewer units and no more than 2 stories, will be exempt from the definition of multi-unit residential buildings, which makes it easier to build like smaller condominiums and townhouses and stuff. So
that's good news.
New real estate developments are strange. Like how you used to drive through like those new neighborhoods, and all the houses kind of look the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're doing that, but the houses are getting tiny. I saw a development where it's like the houses are just like they're 2 stories, but they're extremely narrow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they like look like you had an apartment building and like just cut a section out of it and fucking. It's an apartment where you don't share walls with someone.
Huh. I like that kind of variety in architecture. Like I always thought it'd be cool to live in one of those places that's like above a supermarket.
No, yeah, that'd be super sick. I enjoy like.
Then I wouldn't need a kitchen.
Kind of like old apartments like that. I do like them quite a bit, but like when it's new real estate and it's in like a development like that, and it's like it just feels like they're shrinking the sides of people's yards, like still charging them an arm and a leg, and it feels like shitty rushed things for people to try to capitalize on the real estate market out here.
For sure, but I'm glad to hear that there's like less barriers to entry for like multifamily units because. This week, I actually got to meet the Washington Secretary of Transportation.
Whoa.
Yeah. Roger Millar.
You met Roger Millar?
I met Roger Millar.
Roger Millar?
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you kiss the ring?
No. Not of Roger.
You didn't bow down?
Did you ask what Millar are you doing about these light rail stations not being done yet?
I heard a weird stereotype, or not a stereotype, but I heard that the State Department of Transportation is predominantly Indian. Have you heard this?
I actually haven't heard it, but I don't.
It explains why they have all that new bus seating on the outside.
Those Indian trains are crazy.
I was actually coming back from the game. The train was ridiculous, and I was like, I'm about to just climb up on the top and ride the roof of this thing because then I remembered there's tunnels on the way, and I was like, that's not a great idea. Oh yeah. But it was interesting to meet him.
What was Millar up to?
He was giving a talk at the Seattle Transportation Club.
The club.
The club. It's a club of transportation professionals.
Interesting.
But
you pay dues to this club?
You do, but I just get my company to pay for it.
Nice.
But it's nice. You get out of work, go eat some dinner or lunch at a country club, and network with people. It's not too bad.
Yeah, rub shoulders with Roger Millar.
Talk about buses. Well, one thing that was interesting was
we would never take these. We have our Teslas, but
no.
That need public transport.
I think he hates Tesla owners.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Roger Millar doesn't like Teslas.
I don't think so.
You heard it here first.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so because he was.
How does he feel about bicyclists?
He was talking about like tech bros being like texting him from their Teslas, like, "Why am I stuck behind all these buses?" And it's like. Buses are only 2% of traffic on the highways, but are carrying 34% of the commuters.
That's a great ratio.
They're doing heavy lifting, those buses.
Interesting.
But
that's pretty good. 34% of commuters are on buses?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. It's fantastic. He was saying there's 25% of the people in Washington can't drive for one reason or another. So it's
Really?
Yep,
That's so high. Wait, does that include children?
it does.
Okay.
So it's not
Well,
that shocking,
okay,
but
well,
like
yeah, I would imagine
still
30% of the population is under 16.
but still, like, children have to get places too.
Oh, definitely. They got to take the school bus.
Yeah. But even during like the summer, I think that's why Pierce County will let kids ride the bus for free, which I think is a great idea.
I wonder what percentage of bus riding is school bus. Got to be pretty significant.
I imagine it would. Although, I mean, especially when in places like Tacoma, like, do you think a lot of people walk to school? Like the elementary schools, especially.
I walked to school all the way through high school.
I mean, elementary schools are usually built like right in the middle of residential neighborhoods.
Yeah, it's designed that way.
Yeah.
So you can walk, bus, ride, and there's lots of schools and then.
But one thing he brought up that sort of circles back to zoning is he brought up that, as a state transit department, what you want to reduce is vehicle miles traveled, right, for people in the system. The biggest contributor to VMT, vehicle miles traveled, is land use. It's mostly land use, right?
Oh, okay.
So take, for instance, he brought up Spokane. Spokane, 60% of all zoning in Spokane is single-family housing, but only 25% of people in Spokane can afford a house, which means all of those people are going to be building or living in developments outside of the city. So, yeah, they got to commute. So
interesting.
Yeah, and across Washington, he was talking about, like, vacancy rate for like apartments is like in the low single digits, like 2 to 4%.
Interesting.
I mean, they're full.
So it's there's a lot of interesting stats you got here. Did you get like any pamphlets, or do you have any links that I could maybe share with my brother who's really interested in this kind of stuff?
Ooh, shoot. I'm sure I can find the exact slideshow he showed.
That would be awesome. I'd be very interested.
I'll dig around for it, see
Maybe
if I
we
can.
can even link it in the YouTube.
Yeah. But I did, after his presentation, I did ask him one question though. So, Washington funds a lot of its highway projects off of a gas tax, right?
Okay.
Well, what do you do if less people are using gas? Right.
Yeah, I'd let you make less money on the tax.
Well, Washington is probably in the near future going to start a pilot program in which people pay for usage, basically mileage-based taxation.
Mileage-based taxation? My dad would be so happy.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. A usage tax.
Exactly, because like if you tax gas, not only is it, that's going to be variable depending on like what kind of mileage you get, and also people who have electric cars, which are heavier typically and put more wear and tear on the highways.
Like the heavy, you should multiply it by the weight of your vehicle.
Yeah, which I think that's part of like registrations too. Like when you pay for your tabs, I think there's a part of the your price for tabs that it takes weight into consideration.
Interesting. I never realized that.
Yeah.
I guess I've never been in a category that needed extra weight to be taken into consideration.
No, probably not. Well, I think it's pretty marginal too. Like it's not stupendous.
Unless you're an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, but then I mean that's a whole nother story. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, the legislature shot down the pilot program this year, but you got to pay for your highways. Like eventually it's going to have
there
to
was
happen.
a pothole in the middle of the West Seattle Bridge last week.
You could see through the flyover. Yep.
And this was a bridge that just been completed construction on, that had been under construction for like 2 years.
Yeah, after it was first built in '88, I think, and then it was already like had catastrophic problems.
Yeah, That bridge is
a mess.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't live in West Seattle anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't. I actually just didn't go to West Seattle while that bridge was out
Yeah, I didn't
because
either. And I
it's
had
like
friends who lived there.
it's like I don't want to do the other method.
Yeah, I lived by Green Lake, and I had friends in West Seattle, and it would be a 2-hour drive to get there.
That's ridiculous, man.
I mean, at peak rush hour. But
Yeah, for sure. But still, I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, Washington ranks really low in terms of like our highways when you look at like money spent versus like the utility out of those highways.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the highways here, we pay probably more than I think any other state when you look at the ratio of how much we're expected to pay like for maintenance by lane mile and how much we actually do pay. Like that ratio is, I think, one of the worst in the country. And
do you think it's because we have bridges?
Well,
but you'd think other
you think
bridges.
you think the expected, lane mile cost of maintenance would take that into account. I feel like it would take into account weather and stuff like that. I'm wondering if it's just construction's more expensive in this
Construction's
state.
significantly more expensive because of rain and temperature things.
Yeah.
So like my dad used to tell me that like in Arizona they have their roads are way smoother because they can use a different kind of curing pavement that like there's the like main pavement that's used needs like 40 days of no rain and above 80 degrees to cure, or something like that we just will never have.
No.
And like in some states they gamble with it. But,
yeah.
No, it's because of our rainy season being so long, and you can't do construction.
Yep. And I mean, I feel bad. Like when you're the Secretary of Transportation, you probably get people coming at you with like all sorts of problems that you just can't solve.
Yeah.
And like, I-5 sucks. He's like, yeah, we'd have to widen it by 9 more lanes to make it so you can drive 60 miles per hour from Tacoma to Everett.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad they're focusing resources on the light link.
I am too, which I'm going to get into Sound Transit here in a moment because
nice. Did they have a representative at the meeting?
I wish they did because
they didn't at the club meeting.
No, at least they're probably hiding because I don't know if you've heard what happened in Seattle.
When or what?
Maybe a week or two ago.
Wow.
I'll get into that in a moment, but like when it comes to like all these problems, one of the biggest like economic costs in the transit or transportation system for the whole state is safety, right?
Okay.
Every time there's an accident, it costs tremendous amounts of money, whether that's like people being late to where they need to go,
every hour of man hours
to clean up, the mess that's been made, to pay, I don't know.
Payouts.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff like that. It's more expensive than like economic losses due to like congestion or project delays or anything else. Safety eclipses everything. And it sort of like bugs me because, and I think it bugged him too, because we have laws in the or bills in the legislature that are stuff like, maybe we should restrict right on red, especially in like heavy pedestrian areas.
Okay.
And it gets shot down, and it's like, sure, it would be a minor inconvenience if we can't take a right on red.
Yeah, but how would you teach all the people?
I think you'd probably have to put a sign at every intersection that says no right on red, right? But it's
Yeah, exactly. That's what it would take.
But like, here's the other problem. When's the last time like anybody's been like tested for their driving ability? It's only after a fatal, like you cause a fatal accident, I think, that they have to test you for your driving ability again after your initial driving. But like, laws change, cars change, people's driving ability changes.
Oh yeah.
So it's there's certainly like things we
Yeah.
can do in the name of safety, but like at the same time, I understand it. Like people are super busy. It's not like I would be pissed if I had to go down to the DMV like annually and take a driving test again.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully the automation will take care of that. I remember reading this article by Malcolm Gladwell about the you remember who was that guy who'd run for president as the third party candidate?
Ross Perot,
No, Ralph Nader.
Ralph Nader. Okay.
Ralph Nader. So Ralph Nader's big cause was automobile safety,
Mm-hmm.
and he wrote this book, the Chevy Corvair, Unsafe at Any Speed,
Mm.
and now I'm thinking about it. He was on one side, and the other guy was on the other side. One guy was for airbags, and the other guy was for seatbelts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Nader was for seatbelts.
Right.
Okay, and the numbers, if you look at them, they're about equally helpful.
Okay. Interesting.
But the difference in them, or what Malcolm Gladwell was arguing, or the point he was making or showing, was that seatbelts, you have to make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
Airbags, they're built into the car.
Yeah.
And so when you put the human utility on it, then you got to do so much more work.
Right.
You got to convince the world that it's correct
Mm-hmm.
and to change their behaviors.
Yeah.
It's so much. It's such an uphill task compared to just like putting it into the system.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically the point you brought up with like, how do you teach everyone you can't take a right on red anymore?
Exactly. Like, are we gonna start doing roundabouts? Like, I remember, like, that was a huge shift when roundabouts started getting introduced. It's like, and I'm sure it caused a bunch of accidents.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, roundabouts, I think, once a one-lane roundabout is generally a very safe intersection. Once you start adding more lanes, it gets a bit more complicated. But I think also the prevailing like thought behind a roundabout is most accidents in a roundabout are side swipes, which is
instead of head-on collision.
Yeah. But it's fascinating. I think with automation, I mean, you see a lot of cars have like lane departure assist and like, I mean, there's some you can take your hands off the steering wheel.
Exactly. It'll parallel park for you.
Yeah. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, well, we're getting safer every year.
But yeah, I think with like automobile safety and like, there's certainly other things we can do to make our roads safer. It might be controversial, but like I feel like maybe state inspections, because like most accidents, or at least most interruptions of like the flow of traffic on the highway, at least what Roger said was it's cars breaking down, equipment failing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's most of your problems on the highway and like stranded vehicles. Sometimes that can result in a follow-on accident, but like, if
it's more equipment failure than like drunk driving.
Oh yeah, in your day-to-day, like just your commute, like during rush hour, drunk driving causes more fatalities probably, and more like actual like material damage in the specific instances it's involved. But overall, like breakdowns are such a big problem for the transit network, because I mean,
yeah, you're just assuming that everyone's upkeeping their vehicle to a standard, or that a vehicle even can be upkept to a standard.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people
you get a warning in time to know that something's going to happen.
A lot of people are driving cars they frankly can't afford, and they're not even very good cars to begin with.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a tremendous issue, but yeah, it was cool to hear what he talked about, but it's the legislature that makes the decisions. He's the subject matter expert that talks with the legislature.
Well, does it seem like he's got your endorsement?
You know what? I think yes, he does.
Oh, good.
Because
mine as well.
He's got some good ideas. I think some of them are a bit like way out there.
Oh, okay. Like what?
Or
He's
like
not a bicycle guy, is he?
no, I
Okay.
don't think so. But like for instance, I think so in Europe there's a trend where car companies are like putting speed limiters on cars, right? Which
Oh,
I think is a good idea in terms of safety, but it's like I don't think people are going to go for that.
Americans won't like
They
that.
will not like it one bit.
Interesting, but
But
he's thinking maybe it's more of a possibility than you are.
I think he's pushing for it, and the fact that he's like advocating for it shows me that he thinks it's more of a possibility than I do. Um,
What's he
but
want to put it down to 55?
no way. I think in Europe it's like 155 miles per hour.
Really? That's where the limiter is? That's where they. Well, that's how they start it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
They might, I mean, well, in Europe also, you have the Autobahn and stuff like that. And I think, especially among the German car manufacturers, the German government was like, you either put speed limiters on your cars or we're putting speed limits on the Autobahn.
Oh.
So that was sort of like their gentleman's agreement.
Interesting. I mean, it kind of accomplishes the same task.
But it is kind of crazy. It's like, you can buy a car that goes 200 miles per hour.
Yeah, it
and
seems
like
too fast.
even at the racetrack, most people, except for maybe drag racing, most people probably won't even go 200 miles per hour on the racetrack.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, like the Dodge Demon, that thing is crazy. It's insane. I hope people aren't driving at 200 miles per hour on the highway. Gosh, could you imagine?
Yeah, right.
It'd be crazy. It actually, if you buy that car like full package and everything, you actually get the drag slick tires.
Oh, yeah.
You can't use them on public roads, but you can if you
Take them
out and
have a good time.
yeah. But yeah, I think that was a bit ambitious. But you know what? If that's what people want to do, I'm not gonna. My car does 103, so
What's the fastest you've ever done?
100.
It goes to 103 and you made it to 100?
Actually, I think it does 127.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, when you make it up to the high 90s, you got to push it to 100
Yeah.
one of those times,
Yeah, well, I was in Idaho, and the speed
Oh.
limit was already 80, and I was just on like a stretch of interstate where it's flat and straight for miles.
You can see
There
it's
was
way far ahead.
no one else on the interstate, and I was like, why not? Just to
'Cause
say I did it.
If the speed limit's 80, you go 88.
Yeah, I was going 90
Yeah, you're
already.
going, I usually give myself a 10% buffer on either,
Mhm.
So then you're going 90,
Yeah.
just feeling comfortable at 90.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, yeah, especially like, if you're in a decently maintained car, on flat, straight road, 90 almost feels like 50, it's really hard to tell the difference.
Yeah.
It's easy to get away from yourself, too. It's like, oh, I'm going a lot faster than I thought I was. But yeah, it was cool to hear him speak and just introduced myself. And,
Yeah, well, good fodder for the podcast.
yeah, absolutely. Let me get into Sound Transit though.
Oh, yeah.
So some construction was going on at the Westlake station or near it, and I don't know if they were digging or doing some demolition, but caved in part of the ceiling of the Westlake station.
Oh.
So Westlake, one of the platforms is unusable, and what it's done is it's basically cut the one line, which is pretty much the only light rail line except for the T line, which isn't connected to it, is cut in half. If you get on at Angle Lake, you have to go to Pioneer Square and transfer trains at
really?
Pioneer Square
That's so stupid.
because one of the sides is closed at Westlake, and vice versa. If you take Northgate,
You got to do it the other way.
you got to transfer to the one I think it's Capitol Hill on the other side of Westlake.
I could believe it.
Or no, the
it
Northgate
university?
one goes through the platform. That's okay, but it because Pioneer Square, you have to transfer onto another train. You have 2 trains running on the same track, so it causes delays.
Okay.
And when
How
this,
long is it going to take to fix?
I don't know if I read their initial report, but they said I think 10 days to figure out how long it's going to take to repair.
No, 10 days just to figure out how long?
Yeah, I imagine it's
So
not
at least
good.
11 days.
But the thing is, I don't think Sound Transit has been very transparent about it, because most of the people that were on the train with me were like, why are we stopping at, why is the last stop Pioneer? Like, I'm trying to get to such and such or whatever, and it's like, it's broken.
So they didn't have real obvious signage?
No, they didn't. And also, like, we at Stadium, right after the Sounders and Mariners game, both got out at the same time. There may have been 2,000 people on that platform.
Oof.
You have to board the train on the same side. Because it was nuts.
That's a madness.
Pioneer Square Station was a zoo, dude. It was crazy. And it's like it just seemed like they were ill prepared for it, because people were waiting on the wrong platform for a while, like just hoping this train comes, and finally, like, a supervisor's like, this platform's closed, and it's like, you can put up a sign that says that, or they have those little digital signs that tell you, like, this train goes to
in 5 minutes.
It's like, just say platform closed.
Yeah.
Use the other platform. I don't know. It seems like sometimes Sound Transit just like is run by people who don't actually ride their transit.
Yeah.
So I mean,
ill prepared.
Yeah, very ill prepared, especially for such a busy day, because I think the Kraken are playing tonight.
Oh yeah, you mean last night?
Yeah, last night. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it should be a good game.
Yeah.
But was the soccer game good?
Oh my goodness. We played Sporting Kansas City.
Oh, they're a big team.
Worst in the West right now.
Oh.
Worst in the league, probably.
Oh, okay. Really?
0 wins.
0 wins.
0 wins.
They've won the cup before.
I think they have. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
We're top of the West.
Uh-huh.
Not a single goal scored on us at home.
Oof.
We lost.
Oh, no.
We lost 1-2.
They scored 2 on us?
They did in the first half.
Nobody's even scored 1 on us before.
No, and they're the worst team in the league right now.
They've never won.
They've never won, and we breathed new life back into them. We did the rescue breaths in CPR. Yeah, each goal, the two rescue breaths between the chest compressions. Oh man.
Were people sad?
I think.
Like, was it a shock?
Oh, absolutely. You hate, and here's the thing: losing's a fact of life, but you hate being the upset. Hate
it's so
being
great
the
to
upset.
upset.
Oh, it feels amazing.
Did
I'm
you
sure.
See any Kansas City fans?
Oh yeah. They put them way up in the nosebleeds, so you can't hear them, and you barely
you can't
even
imagine
notice.
They would have traveled well to that game.
No, there was probably 30 of them.
Oh, they're having the time of their life.
Oh, they were having a great time. They're like, these are the best soccer tickets I've ever bought. Hands down. Watch Seattle at like pretty much a sellout game on a beautiful day just fucking eat shit. And when I say eat shit, you know the Harlem Globetrotters?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
the Generals.
Yeah. We were like the Generals, like the team that's supposed to lose, like some of the comical nonsense going on, at least in the first half. Second half, we came out a much better team, but it wasn't enough. I will give the Sounders credit where credit's due.
They scored 1.
They did well. That was a penalty kick, so they helped us out a lot with that. I'll give the Sounders credit where credit's due. One, I think the ref made some questionable calls. That doesn't mean the ref lost the game for us, right? You still got to make shots at the goal and try not to foul the other players. You still gotta like show some class and some skill out there. But the referee did make some questionable calls. 2 for the Sounders. We we got a lot of guys that are hurt. A lot of really good guys that are hurt. Nuhu's down. Rudy is.
Down.
Christian Roldan. Yeah, they're all hurt, and those are like, world-class players right there. So, yeah, I mean, did we lose to Kansas City? Yeah. Should we have? No. But we had a lot of kids out on that field, if you know what I mean. We did.
Yeah.
It's like guys that got called up from the Tacoma Defiance. I think
Oh, yeah?
yeah, this one guy,
That's kinda cool.
I think Cody Baker. I think he's only like 16 years old, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. 16 years old, called up to the big show.
Yeah, and
To lose to Kansas City.
there's potential there,
Yeah.
right?
You think you showed some signs?
I mean, I think they're good players. I stand behind them. It's a good team. I think just with these gaps right now, the guys that are out on the field right now don't quite have the chemistry that like our usual starters do, and I think
Chemistry's very important.
I think that leads to some of the blunders. But I feel like especially the younger guys, they'll grow into their MLS cleats, if you will. So it's a bummer, but I'm not like, we're
The season isn't over.
The season's not over, and I think we're still.
You got any big? What's the game coming up this week?
This week we are actually playing LA Galaxy on the 10th in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
There we go.
Yeah, so
I
hopefully
look forward to it.
Galaxy has not been having a good season. I think they only have one win. So hopefully,
they're-
but you know what I
they're
learned?
just as good as Kansas
You know what I
City, then.
learned from this game?
Anyone
Don't
can
count anyone out
Good point.
ever. Other than that,
You got any events coming up this week? I think I think at the Tacoma Ian Fidance is going to be at the Tacoma Club this week.
oh yeah,
Or is it just the Thursday? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Next week. Oh, never mind then. A week from now.
We're being deprived of our open mic by Ian Fidance.
It's worth it. I want to go see that show.
Oh, is he good?
Yeah, he's really funny.
Okay.
But
Have you seen the Shen Yun billboards going up already?
Shen Yun.
Isn't that like it's like that ballet? It's like China before.
Oh no,
Communism.
but I did see that the Thunder from Down Under is going to be at the.
I saw
the
that
Reef
too.
Casino.
I saw that too. Well, I've seen the Shen Yun billboards go up, and I'd like to tell everybody here. It's sort of propaganda for a cult. Actually, it is propaganda for a cult.
I know what you're talking
The
about.
Falun
now.
Gong.
The Falun Gong.
Yeah.
They steal organs.
Wow.
No, it's a cult, and it's in China, and the Chinese government has stolen more than 100,000 organs from the Falun Gong.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's
crazy.
like a big time organ harvesting cult.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's like grounded in Tai Chi.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
that's how you get into it.
Yeah. Well, like the thing is, if you see the posters for it, it'll always say China before communism. And it's like, well, that sounds nice, ancient China, it's very, very cool, right? There's a lot of cool, pre-communist aspects of Chinese culture. It's not just anti-communist, this ballet, though.
Yes.
It's just straight up anti-intellectual.
Oh,
It's like, evolution denial of modern medicine, all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, it's, like you said, it's a very, it's a cult, and it's cult propaganda, basically.
Dude, I saw this. I was at an Arco one day, and I saw this little poster or little tab thing, informational thing.
Mm-hmm.
It said, "Help stop Chinese Communist Party forced live organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners in China." That's all it said. And then it said www.endccp.com. So,
Yeah.
you got to watch out for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, a bunch of them left, fled China because, the Chinese
Well, they were gonna
government's
steal
not.
their heart.
Yes, and now they're here, and
I read this thing about the Chinese organ donation.
mhm.
So there's 3 times more organ donations occur in China than the rest of the world combined, and they don't have a system to, like, how we have the on our ID card,
Mhm.
you can opt into being an organ donor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Nobody in China is a registered organ donor.
They just conscript them.
They just happen to have more organs than anybody else.
Well, okay, yeah. Now I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I think I actually have the little heart, the organ donor
I do
heart.
too.
I'm like, why not? I don't
Yeah,
think I need them.
You can have my eyes.
You get 2 fucking.
I donate my eyes to Stevie Wonder.
You don't even need 2 kidneys. You know that? But also the Falun Gong run that newspaper / website, the Epoch Times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why it's just far right wing propaganda.
Yeah, that's a interesting world over there.
It is.
The Far East.
We got a show.
Oh yeah,
in Vancouver.
on the 13th we're going to be doing a show in Vancouver. So if any of our Vancouver listeners
Yeah,
come on out, that'll be fun.
that should be fun.
And what is it? Mother's Day next weekend, next
Mhm.
Sunday. So
Sure is.
make sure to get your mother, buy some flowers for your
Yeah,
mom.
yeah. Be nice to your mom.
But I think that's all I got coming up this week. Anything else from you?
Nope, that's it.
Anything from Logan? You got anything coming up this week?
No, I'm hosting that Ian Finance show in a week and a half.
Week and a half. All right,
Woo.
come out for it. Come out for it.
Heyo.
All right. Well, then I think we'll wrap it up. From one grit citizen to the rest, or from 3 to the city. Live life like the mountains out, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.